start all that. But welcome to Growing the Vine Ministries, where we teach people how to grow, change, and produce in everyday life. Yes. But I'm starting a series today. Yes. And I don't think, hopefully y'all ain't never heard nothing like this, because I think it was download from heaven. But it's going to be called the series. Or is it the series? What? How does that, I don't know if you use both of those, how it goes. But what I'm going to say is we have a lot of very important does in our life. A lot of very important does. So one of the ones that I just got a few on here, but the family is one of the does that's very important to us. Yeah. You know, the family. So the money is important to us. The house, we need shelter. The house is important to us. And the car is important to us. And the friends are important, but once you start to have the family, the friends, they kind of go by the wayside a little bit. So the friends might not be as important, but for certain people, the man is important. Because we use that sometimes, man. The man is keeping me down. That's the man I'm talking about today. We blame it on the man. that man is doing something to us. But for the series, I'm not talking about none of those. So I got some different does that we can talk about in this series. But the first dud that I'm going to talk about is the race. The race. We are all in a race, whether we want to admit it or not. But this is the race that God has given us, so we need to complete this race that he has given us. But Jesus said on the cross when he said, "It is finished." So if you use the word finish, I'm thinking that you completed something, because when you run a race, you're at the finish line and they usually put finish line. Yeah. So something is finished at the completion of the end of a race. Yeah. And so we need to complete this race that God has given us. And Paul talked about that, about running this good race, completing these tasks that he's given us. So regardless of what you want to think, you are in a race. Yeah. And it's the race that God has given each and every one of us to complete. Yeah. But how many of y'all have ever actually been in a physical race? Okay. All right, good. At least everybody's been in a race, so that we can use this analogy. But how many races have you won? Oh, you won some races too, Nancy? Okay. So I'm in the right building. I remember my wife. We were going to the park. No, we were going to the park. And so all of a sudden, I don't know why she did this, but she said, "I can beat you in running." I was like, "Is this a joke?" I ain't never seen my wife play a sport. She said she was a softball player. All of a sudden, she could beat me in running. I said, are you sure? She said, "Yeah, I can beat you." So she wanted to race me. Didn't turn out good for her. and maybe I'm a bad husband, because I never let my wife win nothing. Maybe I'm bad because I don't let her beat me in nothing. Because I'm just thinking, if I let her beat me in something, I ain't no telling when I'm going to hear if I get beaten in something. But I guess I won't know. But when you're usually in a race, if you know where you're going to run to, you know where you have to get to. And sometimes you size the people up. If I'm running, I'm kind of looking like, man, who am I running against? But sometimes that's not even a good thing to do, man. You just need to look at what the task you got to complete, to get to the finish line of where you're trying to get to. But one thing about winning a race, it is good to win a race, but learning is even better. Because sometimes for me, as being a man, when I was winning, I really didn't learn nothing. For me in the race, I get a little more cocky, get a little more arrogant. Oh man, I'm beating everybody out there. Look, I'm the man. But you have to learn something in this race of life. And if you do that, I think you'll be in really, really good shape when you do that. But I'm coming out of Ecclesiastes, the 9th chapter, and we're going to start at the 10th verse here. We're going to start at the 10th verse here. And because I just want to read that one, but we're really not going to focus in on that one, but it's just a really good verse too also. And so this is what it says here. It says, "Whatever your hands find to do." So that's what you have to do. Your hands, those are your hands. Not everybody else's hands, your hands. Do it with your might. So do it with the best of your ability. For there is no work or device or knowledge or wisdom in the grave where you are going. We're all going to die one day. We're not going to be here for forever. But he says, so whatever you're doing right now, do it with all your might. See, and I said this before, the reason why people have regrets on their deathbed is because they know they didn't complete their race. See, because Paul didn't have an issue when he knew he completed his race. He said, all right, it's over. I can get on up out of here. But then sometimes your deathbed, you're like, oh man, I should have did this. I should have did that. And so where you're going to the grave, there's not going to be no knowledge. It's not going to be no work. It's over with. It's the end of it. And then look at what King Solomon wrote here. This is what he put in verse 11. He said, I returned and saw under the sun that the race is not to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, nor bread to the wise, nor riches to men of understanding, nor favor to men of skill. But time and chance happen to them all. So that's a great opportunity right there. They're showing you, man, just because you're the fastest don't mean you're going to win. That's what that means right there. And so I want to read the New King James Version also, and it's really good here, and it's pretty much along the same lines. But he said, I have observed something else under the sun, that the fastest runner doesn't always win the race. Mm-hmm. So who wins the race? We all know who wins the race. The one who stays in the race. Mm-hmm. Because when we look at life, man, life is a marathon, not a sprint. Mm-hmm. But when we really look at life, why do we want the race to be over so fast anyway? Why do we want the race to be over? Why do we want that? If you came here and you was like Jesus, since everybody wants to be like Jesus, he said, all right, man, so you'll be here, but 33 is over with for you. Would you run better then if you knew that your time was shorter? Or maybe that's why people don't run well, because they think they got forever. Yeah. You know, what is that messes up this race that we're running? It's very, very interesting because, man, sometimes we think, oh, we're going to be here for forever, so we got time. We'll do that tomorrow. What's that? That's on tomorrow. I'm going to give my life tomorrow. I'm going to do all this tomorrow, you know. I'm not going to worry about today. I'm going to do it tomorrow. That's the way human nature is. We procrastinate. And sometimes in life, you know, it is good. People work better under pressure. Mm-hmm. Some people, man, if they don't have no deadline, they'll never do it for you. Yeah. But if you tell them, hey, man, I need this done by X time, even if they do it the night before, it usually gets done. Yeah. Because now you gave them the time limit that they need. Yeah. But God doesn't really work like that. Yeah. He doesn't say, man, all right, you better be done with this tomorrow. Yeah. He's giving you an opportunity to get this race together. Each and every day of your life, he's giving you an opportunity to get this race together. Yeah. So if this life is a marathon, not a sprint, so what does a marathon look like? How far is a marathon? 26.2 miles for some reason. They won't let you stop at the 26. They got to put a 0.2 on the end of that. So if y'all ever seen those stickers on the back of people's car, 26.2 miles, they say the only people that get those stickers is people that actually ran a marathon. So I'll never have one of those. Yeah. Maybe I can go on eBay and get one, but they say those stickers are for the people that actually ran a marathon there. But it's different stages of the marathon. It's different stages. And I talked to a guy the other day, because I said, man, and we just got on talking about running a marathon. And I said, well, I've never ran a marathon. So I said, you know, what happens kind of during a marathon? And I've read things on it, but I talked to the guy a little bit about it, so I got firsthand. But this is for me. I've never ran one, but I remember one time that I was running. And this is just for the race I was running. I was running on a beach on vacation. And I'm running, and all of a sudden, your body feels like it wants to fall apart. Your body just wants to, man, your body is it's aching, it's all this other stuff, and you feel terrible. But if you keep running, all of a sudden, it's like your body kicks in. Your body kicks in. Something happens to your body, and it's like you don't want to stop running. See, now you're just ready you're like a gazelle out there, and it feels good to run. But you have to press on past that mark that you want to quit. And that's what happens to a lot of us in this race, man. We get to that point, we start off, you feel good. That first lap, oh man, you come out that gate fast. Y'all seen them before. They come out that gate so fast, they be like, hey man, that dude about to lose. You're like, no, but he's running fast. No, he's running too fast. And you see him, I don't know if y'all ever ran track, you see him, they got a mile to do, that's 4 laps. That dude take out on the first lap. Next thing you know what happened to that dude? You see him walking out there. He just started walking. He's not even running no more. He's not even running. But it sure did look good coming out the gate, didn't it? Looked real good coming out the gate. And everybody just catches up with him, go past him. Yeah. Because the race is not given to the swift, swift, but it's the one that keeps on pushing on through this thing. Yeah. But when you're running, man, you get to that point where your body kicks in and then you be like, oh boy, don't stop now. I got to keep on going. Oh man, my body done kicked in. It doesn't matter what's out here. It's not even going to affect me no more. Whatever I'm running on, it didn't even affect me. Yeah. But it's a lot of things that go into that race. See, you have to be mentally prepared for the race. Yeah. It's your mind. It's your nutrition when you're running this thing. Mm-hmm. It's the clothing that you're wearing when you're running this thing. You ain't got no boots on when you're out there running. Yeah. You got the right clothing on. And so that's what it is with this race that God has given us and when we're running. See, you have to feed your spirit, man, the right things in order for your mental capacity to be at the right place to run this race. But see, we go out here, man, we put whatever we want to put in our body, we watch whatever we want to watch on TV, and then we want to be successful in this race of life. It's not the way this works. It's not the way this works. You wouldn't do it in your physical body. If I was trying to go run a race, I'm being honest, the weight I am right now, I can't even run a marathon. Y'all see those marathon runners? Man, they slim. Yeah. They're real slim, so I might just do that 13.1. I'm going to do a half. But when you look at those, man, those guys from Kenya that are running those long distance, what they look like? Skin and bones almost. Mm-hmm. But their mental capacity is there also to be able to run this race. Yeah. See, they got the mindset to be able to run this. And that's what a key part of running that race is. But we shouldn't want the race to be over too fast. Because what would you do after your race is over? You're going to sit idly by? What you going to do? You know, what are you really going to do? You just say, all right, now I can just sit back on the couch and do nothing. You know, and what did Powerball get to? Was it 2.4 billion, I think it was, or something the Powerball got to? It was something crazy. And the guy, man, Jesse, if you win the Powerball, what would you do? I said, well, I don't know. I don't play. So I guess I'll never win. But I say, if you win, maybe you can give me a little something on that. But I said, I would still have to work. I would still have to race. My race still wouldn't be over. Even if I had the money, my race still has to keep going because I'm racing for the kingdom. See, I'm not racing for the things in this life, man. I still have a lot of work to accomplish in the spiritual. So that's really what this race is about. It's not a natural race to see what you can get out of this. It's a race for the kingdom to accomplish some things for God's kingdom. That's what this race really is about. And so we have to really look at that. And so one thing about not running a good race, if you don't run the race, life is going to be painful anyway. Sit in the corner and don't move. It becomes harder to move. So you might as well be moving and being pain than to be sitting in the corner and being pain. Yeah. That's the way I feel about it now. I'm like, man, well, at least I'm in pain for doing something and not just pain from sitting on the sofa all day. Yeah. That's what type of pain that I choose to go through now. And then also, at least, I was a basketball guy, so at least if you're in the game, you can contribute to the win. Yeah. If you're sitting on the sideline, you ain't contributing nothing to the win. You might hoorah and hooray and all that other stuff, but I guarantee you when you go out to the store, nobody knows you. I mean, you sitting on the bench, don't nobody know you. Man, it's probably dudes you seen, they're in the NBA or the NFL, y'all walk past them, y'all don't even know who they are because they never in the game. All y'all know is the people that are in the game, the people actually running this race, or actually playing the game. And that's a good spot to be in, man. I remember, man, I was like, boy, I said, man, once I get older, I said, I can't wait. Because you would see those people, man, they were younger, you have a cell phone or something, and everybody calling them, they always getting phone calls, and, you know, they look like they're popular. You be like, oh, man, everybody knows this guy, you know? And I don't know if that's just a great thing now, but I'm excited now that the devil knows my name. He has to know me because, man, this foolishness he sends my way now. I say, boy, I'm in the right spot now. I say, this race is starting to kick in now because he's trying to deter me off of what I'm trying to do. So I know I'm running a good race now. Because if he's not trying to bother me, I say, man, well, if he ain't bothering you, I must be on his team. I don't know how true that is now, but you just think about that. You say, man, if you don't face no opposition, because nobody gonna let you just walk into score the touchdown. The opposing team is trying to stop you from getting over to this end zone. They're not gonna be like, hey man, just walk in there. We got you. But if the door's open sometimes, you be like, hey man, it's too good to be true. How am I just walking into the end zone over here? But you really do want to contribute something in this life for the kingdom of God here. But look at this right here. I got a few things that I don't want you guys to forget in this lifetime. This is what I want you guys, don't want you to forget. I got a little gong there that you can sound right there. But know where you are in the race. Know where you are. And if you need to, you know in your heart of hearts, if you started this race or you got a lot more to go, but at least you have to be real with yourself to say, man, I really haven't even started this race the way I should. You know, because this is the race for the kingdom. So you have to start your kingdom race because we all are in the race of life regardless. They call it the journey of life, you know, and all those things. Everybody's in that, you know, because everybody here has kids, so they know they're in the race now. But you're going to have to get in this race for the kingdom to accomplish some kingdom things also along this path. So take a self-examination about, man, where am I really in my race? You know, am I just beginning this thing or have I kicked in where I'm not turning back, or am I in that phase where the devil is really fighting me and he's trying to get me to quit running? You know, where are you really at in your race? So if you come to the realization of where you are in your race, you can be more effective in your race if you know what position you're in where you're running at. And then also, you're not racing other people. This is where we get messed up at. Your race is your race. It doesn't matter what everybody else is doing, what everybody else isn't doing. You're not racing other people. You're really racing the race that God has given you. So your challenge is really against yourself. That's where your challenge really lies. It's not against nobody else. It's like, man, I know that I should be doing better, so do better. It's not about, man, look at what he's doing over in his race. I should be doing exactly what he's doing. But you can't be him because you don't have the same fingerprint as him. Mm-hmm. Nobody has the same fingerprint. So if we don't have the same fingerprint, our lives will have to be different in some shape, form, or fashion. Mm-hmm. When you have those people that want to be like you, that's good, but you're not them. I'm not T.D. Jakes. I'm not Darius Daniels. I'm not Andy Stanley. I'm not none of those guys. I'm Jesse. Mm-hmm. That's the only person I can be, and I'm learning how to be a better person of him. But I cannot be those other people. Some of the things they tell you might be good, it might be applicable to your life, but you're still in your own race. Mm-hmm. It's not about what they're doing. Your race is your race. And look at this verse right here. And this is what happens to some people. Look at this. You were running so well. Galatians 5:7, you were running so well. Who has held you back from following the truth? Somebody preached last week about knowing the truth. So we can get held back, man, when we worried about what everybody else is doing and the race they're running. We can start to get hindered and run into some hiccups, into some problems. So run your race really well. All right, and so the next one here, this is what I want to, the next thing, people can help. You're not in this on your own. See, we get to the spot where we think, man, I don't need nobody's help. I'm going to do this on my own. I'm not going to ask for anything, but just ask. If you don't know, just ask for help. Amen. And I'm bad about this myself because I should be asking for help more often myself. But I need to ask. And it's a prideful thing saying, man, I'm going to figure this out on my own. But if there's a wheel, why are you trying to reinvent the wheel if somebody's already done what they needed to do? Mm-hmm. There's no reason to reinvent it, man. Whatever you're trying to do, go talk to that person if they've done it. they'll probably be willing to help you. But we can ask for help, especially in the body of Christ that we are. We can ask for help. Look at this here. Hebrews 12:1. It says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith. I'm surrounded by you guys. Y'all in the life of faith with me. I'm surrounded by y'all. So y'all be my crowd of witnesses that this thing works and that it is worth chasing after. It is worth running this race. But we're surrounded by a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith. Let us strip off every weight that slows us down. So if you're going to run this race, you can't have a backpack on all the time with weights in it. You got to get light sometimes. You got to strip off these things, especially the sin that easily trips us up. That's what he's talking about here, but I'm kind of focusing on the who's crowd of witnesses. And it says, let us run with endurance the race that God has set before us. So don't be afraid to ask for help, because we do have witnesses to this life of faith. We have people that have ran this race very, very well. So why don't we gird each other up and help one another out in this race? Don't be afraid to ask for help. And I'm gonna start doing even better myself. I'm gonna really start asking for help. Hey, say, hey, I need some help with this. Can y'all help? So just get ready, because man, that's what this is, man. And one of the spots that I'm in, man, once you really start to help people and you feel like you're making a difference, man, it feels good to help people. I'm being honest, man. It feels good when you can actually help somebody. You're like, man, I did, man. I helped him out on this race. And God is like, man, well done, man. You're doing good. Keep building one another up, man. Because you hear enough bad things from the world, but if you can help one another out in this, oh man, it changes your mindset on this. And then this is the last one here. Stay calm. I remember when I used to run track, and I used to have to practice, but I would tense up when I started running. I just come out the gate, I just get tensed up. You just get tight, you know. I used to keep my shoulders get tight. You just, you know, and I'm still fast, but if you stay calm, you run a lot faster. If you see those people in the Olympics, their cheeks just be kind of just real loose. I don't know if y'all ever paid attention to that or y'all run track, but if you see their cheeks and they're just real loose when they're running, that means they're calm as can be. And loose muscles run faster. Loose muscles run faster. So when you don't get all tense and all worked up over life in this race that you're running and you stay calm, the race becomes a lot easier. This race becomes easier when you stay calm in this race. And the reason why most people get messed up in life is because they do lack faith, but it's really their trust and their belief system is being challenged. Really, your beliefs are being challenged when you get all flustered in this race. Because if you truly believed in what you were doing, you wouldn't get worried. You wouldn't be worried about it. If I go out to my car and my car is full, I got a full tank of gas, I'm not worried about driving to Nashville. I'm not worried about driving there. I say, yep, I'll be down there in a little while. But now if you get in that car and you talking about you got to go to work today and that gas light is on, oh yeah, your belief in that car ain't too good. Your belief gets real shaky when you ain't on point in your car where you need to be at. So your belief will start to waver. But if you know that you're doing what you're supposed to do, you can stay calm in every situation that you go through. And you can stay calm and say, man, all right, God's got it. You know, I just had to run this race that he set before me, because I didn't pick this race. I didn't pick this race. He said, man, God has given me this race to run. I didn't pick it, so I just have to trust and believe that this is going to work out for my good. So I'm going to stay calm in every situation I'm in. What has getting all upset and flustered ever did for you? It's never helped me. It's never helped me, man, to get all worked up and upset and out of order. Never helped me. And you know, you get even more worked up. You can't even calm yourself down sometimes. You get so worked up in these situations. So man, never forget to stay calm during this race. God has you right where he needs you to be. So when we look at this, man, you got to know where you're at in the race. You're not racing other people. People can help you. Well, that's what we're here for one another, man. We can help one another in this race. And it doesn't matter who comes or who goes out of your life, your race ain't over. Your race is not over. It's not over until you go home to be with the Lord, because you still have something to contribute to this life. You have something to contribute, man. If you're here, you have something to contribute. So, man, know where you're at in the race so you know what you can contribute to this race. And we're all, and if we want to admit it or not, but that's what the body of Christ really is for. But we're all linked up with one another's race. We're running this race together. And see, when we look at this life, everybody's in different spots in their race. So they usually can help you where you're at in your race. Let's just be real. So my dad, he's older than us. So I can see what his race looked like. And I can ask him for some help. And then I can look at my man Vince. Vince is behind me. I think I'm a little further along because I'm older than him. So now I can help Vince in this race. That's the way this works. And that's what the body of saints is, man. So we're surrounded by this great cloud of witnesses. So let us throw off the things, to strip off these weights that are hindering us from doing these things that the word said that we can do. We're in it together. Don't be afraid to ask for help, man. I'm here. If you need some help, call me. That's what this should be about. It's not every man for himself. And we shouldn't make it every man for himself. That's a bad spot to be in when you feel like you can't depend on nobody. That's a terrible spot to be like, man, I'm in this race on my own. Because regardless of what you feel or not, man, you believe that and you trust God, but you want some human help and some human interaction too. Let's not make it. We can say we depending on God and trusting on him, but it sure is when your brother comes through sometime or your sister comes through, it sure does feel good. You be like, man, I knew they had me. You ain't on the side of the road with your thumb up waiting on a hitchhiker, on just a passerby. It feels good. You be like, hey, man, I got you. Come on, man, I'm going to be through there. I'm going to take care of that for you. And so we should always remember that, man, that we're in this together. So we got to make this thing super deep. Man, you need it, call. You don't need it, don't call. Don't just wear me out for no reason. But stay calm in whatever situation you're in. Man, what do we used to say, man? We were growing up, man. We used to say to each other, man, it's cool, relax. Say, man, just be cool, relax, man, just chill. And so just think about those things. But we're just leaving, and I highlighted that again right here. The race is not to the swift. Man, it doesn't matter where you're at, just keep going. The fastest person doesn't always win the race. The fastest person, let's just use the 100-meter dash and we'll be done. The 100-meter dash person, he might be killing you. He might be wearing you out. But he might pull a hamstring. Something might happen to him. And you're like, man, I sure couldn't beat this guy if he didn't pull his hamstring. If he pulled a hamstring, now I win the grand prize. He was the fastest. But I was able to endure to the end and get on to this finish line and complete the task. So, man, just because people might look like they're leaving you and good things are happening to them, stay in the race. Just stay in it. Keep running. If you're in the race, you got an opportunity to win. Because I guarantee you, those people that are in the race, some of them are going to quit. Some of them are going to quit. Man, look, I've seen pastors with bigger churches. They just walk away one day. They got nice churches and all say, hey man, I'm done. I ain't dealing with y'all fools no more. This race that got too hard. I'm out. And so it might be one day, hey Jesse, you need a pastor this big church? He said, all right, here I come. He said, here I come. Next thing you know, we in a mega church. All of us, church changes. But I was in the race. What it says, but time and chance happened to them all. Just take some time and a good chance, and it might happen to me. But just truly believe that, man. It doesn't matter where you are in this life, man. Don't give up. If you're in the race, you got an opportunity to win it. You can win the race. And the race gets easier. I'm being honest. I kicked in now. I'm in that place, man. I'm hitting my runner's high. Those endorphins have kicked in my life. I'm not turning back. We're running. And I'm at the run with or without you. I might be a little swifter than you, but you might catch me when I get older, but I'm trying to go. And you can't wait on perfect conditions when you're running. They still run marathons in the rain. They don't be like, oh man, it's raining today, so we ain't gonna run. Even better, all them other clowns stayed home. Less people to beat. So keep running. This is the race that God has given us, and let's complete the race he has given us to complete.